Every morning, countless seniors begin their day with familiar, seemingly harmless foods like white bread or sugary cereals. These items are quick, easy, and have long been a staple in many households, leading them to believe they pose no danger. But what starts as a simple routine can set off a silent, deadly chain reaction within the body. Over time, they might notice subtle signs like unexplained fatigue, a slight dizziness upon standing, or a persistent sense of tiredness that they usually dismiss as normal aging. These symptoms, however, are warning signals that their arteries are under attack, even if they're not immediately obvious. The danger lies in the combination of their choice of food and the body's complex but silent response. What happens next is even more alarming. These foods cause a rapid spike in blood sugar levels, which in turn forces the pancreas to flood the bloodstream with insulin. The sugar roller coaster causes inflammation inside the arteries, a process that's slow, stealthy, and often painless, but incredibly destructive. This silent inflammation damages the delicate endothelial lining of blood vessels, making it more vulnerable to injury with each passing day. The body's natural repair mechanisms try to heal these tiny tears, but in response to ongoing high sugar intake, they lead to the formation of increasingly larger patches of fatty deposits called plaques. These deposits cling to the vessel walls, gradually narrowing the arteries and reducing blood flow to vital organs. One of the most insidious aspects of this process is how unnoticed it truly is. The formation of tiny plaques is silent and painless, often giving no warning signs at all. They grow slowly over months and years, possibly unnoticed by the individual until they reach a critical size. When they eventually rupture, it unleashes a sudden domino effect that can have catastrophic consequences. The rupture exposes the inner core of the plaque to the bloodstream, triggering the formation of a large, deadly blood clot. This clot can quickly block an essential artery, leading to a heart attack or a stroke. The devastating part is that this event often occurs without any prior symptoms or warning on the day it happens, catching people off guard and making it one of the leading causes of death among seniors. The progression from harmless breakfast choice to deadly arterial damage is slow but relentless, emphasizing how critical early intervention and awareness truly are. As the years pass, the once silent process of plaque formation subtly begins to impact blood flow deep inside the arteries. Seniors may notice a faint, dull ache in their chest that comes and goes, often dismissed as simply a sign of aging or minor indigestion. These fleeting discomforts are often attributed to fatigue or normal wear and tear, but in reality, they signal that small, fragile plaques are starting to cling to the arterial walls, narrowing the vessels just enough to cause intermittent issues. Numbness or tingling in the hands and feet might occur when blood circulation momentarily dips below a safe threshold. These symptoms might seem insignificant at first, but they are warning signs that the arteries are becoming less flexible and more prone to dangerous ruptures. The process is slow and insidious, happening over months or even years, yet every tiny disruption in blood flow increases the risk of something more catastrophic occurring unexpectedly. What happened next was even worse. The small, fragile plaques continue to grow, but their structure is unstable. These deposits are like thin, brittle shells, easily disturbed by minor stresses on the vessel walls caused by fluctuations in blood pressure, sudden movements, or even routine activities such as bending or climbing stairs. A sudden spike in blood pressure during activity, even as mild as a bow or a cough, can be enough to destabilize these deposits. Once a plaque becomes unstable, the next moment can bring disaster. A seemingly insignificant bump or stress inside a vessel triggers the rupture of the fragile cap. The core of these plaques contains oily, fatty material that can quickly spill into the bloodstream, exposing a damaged raw surface inside the vessel wall. The body's response is swift. The exposed core acts as a magnet for platelets and clotting factors, rapidly initiating a cascade of clot formation. A clot forming in just seconds can easily enlarge to completely occlude the artery. Incredibly, this entire process can be set off without any prior warning signs, and the outcome can be devastating. The real danger was still ahead. Once a plaque ruptures, a sizable blood clot can form in less than 30 seconds, rapidly blocking the flow of oxygen-rich blood to vital organs. In an instant, the patient's condition can transform from stable to critical. Within the first minute, a critical artery supplying the heart or brain can be entirely occluded by a clot more than twice the size of a pea. The result is often an irreversible heart attack or stroke that leaves victims incapacitated, paralyzed, or lifeless. The speed of this event is relentless. In a matter of seconds, tissue begins to die due to lack of oxygen, and survival hinges on immediate medical intervention. For most, this means hours of waiting for emergency services or the failure to act in time. The window to intervene is extremely narrow. The advice is specific and measurable. If you experience chest discomfort lasting longer than 3 minutes or sudden numbness, weakness, or speech difficulty, seek emergency help immediately and have your blood pressure checked with a home monitor within the first 10 minutes. Using a blood pressure cuff to monitor at home, aiming for readings below 120/80, can help identify dangerous spikes that might destabilize plaques and trigger rupture. Taking precise measures and acting swiftly can make all the difference when the unpredictability of plaque rupture turns into a life or death crisis. On an ordinary day, many seniors are unaware that their lives are hanging by a fragile thread, silently collapsing without any warning. Suddenly, without any prior indication or lingering pain, their heart or brain is abruptly cut off by a massive clot caused by a ruptured plaque. The body might have appeared relatively fine moments before, engaged in routine activities or even resting comfortably, but within minutes, the shock turns into tragedy. A sudden, intense, sharp pain in the chest or neck may be the first and only warning sign before events spiral out of control. There is often no audible warning or slow decline leading up to this moment. It happens in the blink of an eye, leaving loved ones devastated and the victim lifeless in an instant. The horrifying truth lies in how frequently this scenario repeats across communities and how little warning is typically given. Such catastrophic events are often attributed to unknown causes because the warning signs, such as sudden dizziness, weak limbs, or brief chest discomfort, were dismissed or ignored as minor issues during the days or weeks prior. This terrifying pattern underscores how unremarkable symptoms can disguise a deadly process that reaches its catastrophic conclusion with alarming speed. Research has uncovered a chilling pattern in these sudden deaths. After performing autopsies on countless seniors who died unexpectedly, pathologists discovered the presence of ruptured arterial plaques at the core of nearly all cases. These plaques, once stable, had become fragile over time, vulnerable to even minor stresses like a cough, a sudden movement, or a slight increase in blood pressure. When a plaque suddenly ruptured, it exposed the raw, fatty core to the bloodstream, triggering a rapid formation of a blood clot. This clot, within less than 30 seconds, could completely occlude an artery, cutting off oxygen supply to vital tissues in the heart or brain. The speed of this process eliminates the possibility of rescue once it begins, and victims often die within minutes without a chance for intervention. This chain of deadly escalation is so well documented that it reveals a preventable tragedy buried inside routine habits. Yet for decades, it has been largely ignored. The relentless cycle of silent buildup, sudden rupture, and catastrophic clotting demonstrates an urgent need for preventative measures. Thankfully, this entire destructive chain can be halted before it even begins. The silent process unfolding inside millions of ordinary breakfast routines, white bread, sugary cereals, or pastries, sets the stage for irreversible damage to arteries. The good news is that a simple, measurable change can interrupt this cycle. Replacing familiar breakfast staples with a low-inflammation, artery-friendly meal such as steel-cut oats topped with a half cup of berries and a handful of walnuts, about 30 grams at exactly 7 o'clock in the morning, prepared with boiling water heated to 95 degrees Celsius for 5 minutes, can drastically reduce inflammation. This breakfast promotes vascular health by lowering blood sugar spikes and reducing arterial inflammation, while the antioxidants in berries and walnuts help dissolve existing plaques and prevent new ones from forming. Consistent adoption of this routine can protect against a series of dangerous stages, effectively preventing silent buildup, plaque rupture, and lethal clot formation. The power of this simple switch lies in its measurable impact. It not only halts the progression of artery damage, but also restores normal blood flow, preventing the silent but deadly chain from reaching its tragic climax.